Alright, so how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we are back at the Streetcar HQ, and we are once again going to be customizing yet another vehicle. And so last time, if you didn't see, we did the NSX. That thing turned out very well, I think. It looks so good, so fast. Just absolutely hugs the ground like a track car, and just absolutely performs just incredibly. So I did want to do another car. This one was more for me, not so much a car that, you know, was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Was very, like, not common, right? Like the NSX you wouldn't expect to see. First started out just messing around with things and just thinking, well, let's get an older car or something like that. Let's do something a little bit older, restore a classic car and make that look awesome. Classic muscle cars are great. Then I seen the Wrangler and I was like, oh, I really want to do the Wrangler too. I feel like that'd be cool. Then I started flipping some more through the cars, and I decided to go with the car that I love myself, and that, you know, if I ever have the money one day, I will purchase, regardless to what anybody says. I know a lot of people talk about them being not very good cars because they're kind of like an idiot's car and anybody can drive one. They're good cars, obviously, but yeah, they say they're idiots' cars and everybody can drive them. Doesn't require much skill or anything like that, but it doesn't matter. I still absolutely love these cars, and I think everybody has a little soft spot for them too. They are very much super popular, and that is the Nissan, or the Nissan, depends on where you're from and how you say it, but a Nissan GTR 2015. So not the Skyline or anything, but the 2015-2016 version. I think the 2015 is the one in the game. Was thinking about a Shelby too, because I do love those. My brother has one of those cars, and it's just an absolutely monster. But we did end up going with the GTR R35 because I absolutely love them, and I can't get enough of those cars. Ever since they've came out with them, I could not get enough. I think that they are just fantastic. So that is the car that we are going to be customizing today. So $373,000 isn't that bad. We decided to go with the red color. I figured red would be a good one, and I picked the fancy pink, purple, teal, blue rims just because they're not the rims that are going to stick on the car, because we're going to be changing them, that's for sure. So why not throw something on a little bit fancy? It doesn't really matter. So again, here we are. So out of the dealership, I like to take a test drive on the car, see how it performs at night, which is the one thing that does kind of suck, that I have a much harder time driving at night than I do during the day, just because it's so much harder to see things that are coming. The backfire is wonderful on the GTR, which is great. Another car that, you know, just goes and goes and goes and goes super quickly, like the NSX, straight from the factory. Just incredible stock. End up hitting a rock there again. I'm not used to the handling of any of these cars, so you have to understand there. Interior actually is something that was a little bit surprising to me, because it looks very bare bones. It looks like a Mazda interior. You know, there's a little display in the dash itself. The gauges are just gauges. You know, it has paddle shifts. They're automatic. But the radio is one thing that really surprised me, because it's just like a regular radio. Like, it has the normal buttons on it that you would see in like a $30,000 like pickup truck, or like a $15,000 car. It's got a base entertainment system in it, which is very strange to me because it's a GTR and you would expect it to have something crazy in it, right? But again, handles fairly fair for a stock car. I mean, it is a stock supercar. I say that with air quotes because it's considered like a family, not a family car, but you know, it's a fast car that anybody can afford essentially. You can pick up used ones for like 50 grand, and you know, the average person can afford one. So, but it is insanely quick. So let's go ahead and start customizing this thing. All right, so time for the NSX to go and sit back in the garage for a little bit while we customize, not the R34, the R35. And I'm figuring we should do a red color because I think the red looks really good, but I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do. I think I end up going with the iridescent red color because I think that just looks really nice on it. And then visual parts after a while, let's go with the hoods. And so, like, again, like I said, I'm very much a minimalist guy for hoods, so we're going to just keep the stock hood as it is because I think that one looks the best. And of course, there's wide body, so you know we're going to be putting a wide body kit on this car. 15 front bumpers is quite a big difference. And again, I'm going to go with that little red trim on the front bumper there with the blacked out headlights. But I think that just looks the best. The red trim by far looks the greatest. This is something I didn't know at the start, is that there were only 3 rims for this car, and they're all the Nissan rims. I don't know why I own a Mazda 3. That's probably why I said that. But the Nissan rims, so we're going to go with rim 3 there. Keep the mirrors the same thing, because again, I'm not the biggest fan of the carbon fiber in this game. Red trim side skirts. Definitely going to put that wider body on for the rear panels. And just give it a little bit. We need a big wing because it's a GTR. It needs the downforce to keep it down. And once again, going to the back end. This is where things got a little bit curious to me as well, because I wasn't sure what I wanted. I know I wanted that red trim. I didn't want a big diffuser on the back because I'm not a huge fan of those. But I wanted it to look sleek on the back. So this one actually, it was all right. But then I seen this one, the NISMO, and I figured we need to put a NISMO bumper on it. And that's exactly what I did. Blacked out the taillights and everything. It's all good. Interior, once again, we're going to do a little bit of a red hint on there just because it just adds a little pop. You got to make that suede, of course, and black for the stereo kit. So that is the car. I think it does look overall pretty damn good for a GTR. I mean, that's saying that for a GTR. There's not a whole lot you can do with them in this game. Wide body kit on it makes it look that much better, in my opinion, I think. It's not as nice looking as the NSX, but that the NSX is something else. So, again, I was just looking at the liveries. Just wanted to see if there's anything neat out there. I end up going with that, the first one there, the blacked out roof and blacked out trunk lid. I figured that probably looked the best. I'm not the biggest of the flashy decals on the cars or anything like that. I like just subtlety, nothing too crazy. That's kind of what I end up going with. So I decided to just throw a black roof on it and a black trunk. And I think that just makes it look really nice. Adds a little bit of a black accent on the car. And there's enough black parts on there that it just kind of moves together. So again, we're maxing out the performance as much as we can. And then we're going to take this thing to the roads. So here we are outside the place in Miami. This thing is definitely looking nice. I can't stress that enough. And then first pull. So it sounds really good. I think I have the I think I got the audio for the car turned down way too much, but it sounded really well to me. And again, just super fast. It's already at 180 mile an hour. This thing corners so much better than the NSX too, and of course it would, because it's more of a tuner car. It's not really a track car, kind of like how the NSX is set up. But again, it corners like crazy. I'm gonna hit stuff because first time I'm driving this thing with any of these performance upgrades on it, so mind the driving. But again, handles really good, and honestly, I'm blown away by the performance by this GTR. I thought it was gonna be like the other games where it's it's just crazy good off the bat, and it is, but it hugs corners. You can drive it. You don't have to be like insanely good at driving to use this thing, and I think that's why a lot of people are going to be choosing to use it online, as well as the fact that this thing slides, and it slides really well. And I found that out when I came around that corner there. I was like, wait a second, okay, this thing can actually slide fairly good. Okay, I'm all right with this. Like, I'm not a big fan of just being able to tap the brakes and just go into a slide completely, because I think that your car should be somewhat geared up for it. So I think your car should be completely geared towards the actual drifting aspect and not just drifting all the time for no reason. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, especially in games. I get it, it's an arcade game. Everybody wants to drift. But this car does the best of both worlds. It gives you that just enough skid that you need to get around the corners, but not way too much and too easy that it's just a little bit ridiculous. So again, backfire on this car is just fantastic. It just makes you smile. But yeah, that's pretty much all that there can be said about this car just on streets. It handles really well. It's super fast, got good acceleration. Your third gear at 130 mile an hour, which is just ridiculous. At that point, I would feel bad driving it in the cities, but it performs really well. It's going to be a good car for street racing, definitely in the street racing discipline in this game. I think a lot of people are going to use it. The NSX, I think, is just a little bit too tracky for that. Fantastic car nonetheless, but I think it's a little bit too tracky than that compared to this one. But between the GTR and the R34, the R35 and 34, I would say they're probably pretty much the same car, fully maxed up. I think that they perform really well the same. I tried making this jump here, and we ended up in the water, so I went back and hit the jump. But I think it's about time that we go ahead and take this to the salt flats and see what speed we can get it up to. So out here in the salt flats now, this is where we're going to see just exactly what this GTR has under the hood. Now, the NSX got, I want to say when I was doing the road trips, when it was about 240 to a high-end 250 maybe once. I think that's what the NSX capped out to. I slipped my mind right now exactly what it capped out to. But the GTR, I definitely want to see if this thing can beat that speed record. I don't think it's going to, but that's why we're here out in the salt flats testing it. And, you know, you just got to give it. And 6th gear came in, and we're about 220, which is good. It's very slowly increasing. I wasn't paying attention here at all. I was just kind of admiring the car. Next thing you know, she smashed straight into a tent. And that definitely sucks. I should have paid attention, like, oh, there's pylons. I'm smacking pylons. I'm going to hit something. But whatever. It doesn't really matter anyways. But yeah, out here in the salt flats, we're definitely testing out the speed. And again, 5th gear at about 200 mile an hour is when it kicks into 6th. It's just crazy. Like, this is a fast car. I want to see what we top out at. Again, it's not like the NSX where you can get to about 230 and it stops climbing. This thing gets to about 220, 222. It could have used the other parts on it. It's not a true 280 car, but it's not bad. So, not bad at all. It does the job. I definitely think that it's going to be a better car for actually turning in streets than it will be for highway racing, that is for sure. Alright, so I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this customization of the GTR R35 2015 model year. I think it turned out really well. It's a nice wide body car. The red looks super nice on it, and it performs really well. Really good at handling, good for acceleration. The speed could be a little bit better, but I think it's going to kill those inside corners when you're doing street races. So thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely be sure to do that. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell. Hit that while you're there, so you don't miss any crew uploads, because you're going to want to stay on top of those going forward. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll see you again with some more customizations, because this is all I got until the open beta comes out, which should be out shortly, and we will be able to do some more then. So thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.